advice or any words of encouragement or words of inspiration you'd like to just tell them?
The best advice that I can give them is put their trust in the Lord and lean on Him. He will bring you through. Troubles don't last always. That's what you have to do. Put your trust in Him. That's what. Because it ain't like it used to be out here. Things have changed so much. It ain't like it used to be. So put your trust in the Lord. He'll bring you through. Might seem hard sometimes, but He'll bring you through. Exactly. My name is Alma Jean Ivery, Rankin Ivery. I'm born July 22nd, 1935. 86.
That's a beautiful age. Blessing.
Going on 96.
I understand. Where were you born, Aunt Alma?
I was born in Rowan County, Ideal 1.
You told me Rowan. What was the name of that road?
My memories ain't too good now.
That's okay.
It's right across the line, Idaho County line down there to the right.
Yeah.
What's that, Goodman Road? Goodman Road.
Goodman Road. I think it's Frank Goodman down in there. I think.
On a farm?
On a farm, yeah. And we lived on the North Farm for years and years and years. That's past the Idaho County line. And I had 5 or 6 children.
We'll list all of them in a minute. Who were your parents?
My parents were Mr. and Mrs. Joe Rankin and his wife, Della Mae Wilson Rankin.
All right.
That's what she is. And they was born, I think, my mom was born in, my mother was born in Idaho County, and my father was born in Rowan County. But I don't know how they made it together. Either way they got together.
You mentioned Joe and Della. Joe Rankin and Della Wilson Rankin.
Right. It's Joe Rankin and Della Mae Wilson.
Do you remember either of their parents, your grandparents?
Mama's mother was Lily Wilson. And Daddy's mother and father was, I think, was
Were they already deceased, or when you were born? Do you remember?
I don't remember what they was deceased.
Okay, but you remember your grandmother, Lily Wilson?
Lily Wilson, that was Mama's mother, Lily Wilson.
Do you remember anything about her?
I don't know. She used to come and stay with us, and we used to go to Mount Gideon where my aunt stayed a lot. We used to ride down there.
Which aunt?
Aunt Mary. Aunt Mary, what was her last name? I'm trying to think who she married. But we used to go down there and stay the weekends and come back.
Did you play with cousins when you were there?
Yeah, we played with cousins while I was down there. We'd go stay for the weekend or go stay all night and come back. And we'd play with the cousins and stuff. Her name was Aunt Mary. Mary Knox, I believe it was. Will Knox was her husband, brother. And my older sister, Lily Allison, we used to go up there on Sunday evenings like the day parade take pictures. I got old pictures we took up there. And we'd have eat out in the yard and all that. And everybody eat and enjoy themselves. And I could think some more, Lord, but mine ain't too good.
What about Aunt Hallie? Hallie?
Yeah, we used to go there, go there and get a duck. We call her duck, but her name was Hallie. Go there and get her and bring her over. And we'd have to eat out in the yard here up her legs out every Sunday. And I got old pictures that I took. I told them she had to put them in the scrapbook. Old pictures. Way back. As I said, you go way back. Take them pictures old, and I told them put them in the scrapbook. Keeping out these young, some of the grandkids and great grand, they don't know them, you know. But when Tayshawn and Sid was 4 or 5 years old, they took pictures of them too, Tayshawn, all that. So we'd get out here in the yard and have a good time. Every Sunday we'd have a good old eat. Lily, she'd eat up there, we'd eat up there, we'd eat down here in the yard. About every Sunday. Especially it's pretty. We'd eat. And who else?
Uncle Arthur.
Uncle Arthur and Jake. Jake and Pearl kind of stayed to themselves a while, but they'd mangle in the bunch too. Jake and Pearl.
Was Uncle Jake the oldest or Aunt Lily? Do you remember?
I think Jake was the oldest. I think now, I'm not sure. I think he was the oldest.
I know he passed away when I was young, so I don't remember a lot about him. I just remember him and Aunt Pearl.
Yeah.
Did you name the rest of your siblings?
You got Otha, Jake.
Arthur and Jake and DeWitt and Ran. And let's see.
Onslow.
Onslow, we called it. All of them, they get together too. And let's see who else did.
What was Wes's mother's name?
Louise.
Louise. Do you remember anything about her that you can share with us? Because I know she was gone. I don't even remember her.
She was gone, but when Wes, he was about, we took him when he was about 4 or 5 years old somewhere. She used to work in Mosul, and we used to keep him. Layla stayed over there at Falls London, go on the hill. She worked in Mosul, and we'd keep him. And then after she passed, well, Mama said, now what is this keeping, you know, and look after him and raise him. So that's what we done.
And he was about 4 or 5 when she passed?
I think he was 4 or 5 years, 5 or 6 or somewhere along in there he was. So we took him and raised him.
Tell me about the bottle.
And he's 5 or 6 years old, and he used to suck a bottle. They had him a bottle like, you know what yeah, but he couldn't get the bottle. He'd get a Coca-Cola bottle and a Pepsi bottle, put milk in it and put a nip on it and drink milk out of it. That's what he'd go to school, then come back and suck that bottle. Up on the couch.
Oh my goodness.
Daddy wouldn't lie at the bottom. We'd mess with him, you know, tease him. And he'd get up on the couch and drink that, suck that milk out of that bottle, put a nip on it.
Sound a little spoiled to me.
Yes, boy, that's what it was. Daddy didn't like to beat him and knock on him. And then we beat his tail, make him listen. It was so
Poor John Wesley.
we didn't mistreat him, but we made him listen.
Yeah.
Dad, don't be beating that boy, have him hard, because he's big enough to tell it, you see. What we did. Big old nip on them. You know how to put them old nipples over Coca-Cola ball or Pepsi ball.
Never heard of such a...
Going to school and then come home, fill it up full of milk, nip on it and drink it. Suck on it.
Oh, good.
Drink the milk out of it. We done that for a long time. We got the teasing going on, so he finally quit. Big old nip on that sucking. going to school now and come home and suck milk out of it. Then 5 or 6 years old. Nothing. Maybe might have been 7 or 8. Was old enough to go to school. I don't know whether he was in preschool or what.
Did you say sucked it till he was like about 12 or so?
Well, suck it. Yeah, he slipped and suck it sometime. About 11 or 12 years old.
Ooh, Jesus.
Suck it, you know, because he could fill it up himself with milk. You see? And he going in to suck that milk out there. Just drink it out of a cup or something.
So y'all helped raise Wes,
Yeah, we have to raise him.
and he still came by today, didn't he?
Yeah, he came by this morning. Come by and brought a card again. And then Ann, Dawes was so fast, she was flying up and down the road. And Dad, Tom, Dick, and Harry.
Oh, Jesus.
So we had to about raise her. We did.
Oh, well.
We raised her. So there's a lot going on.
Sounds like it.
It does.
Yeah.
It does. Any other nieces or nephews that y'all trying to help raise too?
And we have to raise her. Like you said, dogs were flopping here and there. Tom, Dick, and Harry. And so we have to raise her.
Oh, Jesus.
That's what.
Okay. Do you remember any during that time? You know, any times about school? That where did you attend any school? Did you have to work a lot? What was it like just growing up?
Well, Dad and them would raise cotton and corn and stuff, and cotton we'd have to stay out of school, especially in Rankin County. And our deal, we'd have to stay out of school, hoe cotton and pick cotton a lot. We did.
What school did you go to? 'Cause
I think we was going to Rowan. It wasn't from Rowan school. It was at Mount Elliott, that little school. They used to have a little school over there. We used to walk to school, and then we went to Shenville up here. We used to walk from down at Knox's, Frank Goodman down beside the school.
That's a long way.
Yeah, we used to walk it back and forth.
What time would you start to head to school to walk that far?
I think we start about 8 o'clock or somewhere along in there. And then they finally they got the buses to run. And we get on the bus and ride to school up there South Isle, right there at that church. We got on the bus and laid on and ride to school. That's for a long time we walked. We walked a lot of time from Frank Goodman to Mount Elliott School too. Then they had another school down there named Knox School. We went to that too.
Were any of them called the Rosenwald schools? Didn't they?
No.
Back in the day.
But we went to Knox School and Mount Elliott School and Shenville School. I don't know what that old school's still standing up there or not. Years ago it was. Up there at Shenville. Right there at that church, there used to be a school right
Seems like I used to see an old dilapidated building through the woods, but I don't think it's there anymore.
It might not be there anymore.
But I remember Mama talking about walking to school there as well.
All them chaps around there walked, from Shenville walked to school. Well, we walked from down in Hamilton from up
Further.
there. Yeah, further.
That's a long way.
I wouldn't have went to school.
Well, you had to go to school. They sent you had to go. And Miss Beer, what's the call?
Carpenter.
Beer Carpenter.
But she was probably somebody else before
She's
she got.
somebody else. She used to have a little carpet right along there as you go in this. Before you get to, where Laceyville and
Right.
out there to the end of the road, she used to have a little carpet down in the basement.
Huh.
We'd stop up there and get sandwiches and stuff, or go up there lunchtime and get our food to eat,
You sure it was Miss Vera?
Yeah, Miss Beer, what they call her, Cropper. Wasn't Bill Cropper, it was Beer something.
Was she a Brown?
No, she wasn't brown.
I never did hear Miss Vera's maiden name, but she used to live right down here. She was married to Mr. Tom Carpenter.
Yeah, but her people, I know some of her people.
She,
I know some of them are Browns.
she had a little, carpet down in the basement.
Mm.
We stop up there and go up there and get, you know.
I know she sold candy when she lived down here, so maybe that's
Maybe that's what she was used to get that side money.
Right, but we go up there at lunchtime, them that didn't carry lunch, or didn't have too much lunch at school then. We'd go up there, you know, have a little change. Maybe a hot dog, 10 or 15 cents, something like that, you know. It's cheap, and we go up there. Them
Okay.
that didn't carry lunch, they go up there and get them something to eat.
Okay. If y'all walked to school, did y'all also walk to church when you went to church?
I don't think we did. It might have. I don't remember. Oh, 'cause I think we went to Mount Tabor, I think.
I think so. Grandma was a member there.
yeah.
When she passed away, she's buried out there
Over
at Mount Tabor.
Mount Tabor.
Yes, ma'am.
I think we went to Mount Tabor. And a lot of children up in there went to Shinville, you know, up in there.
So you all rode to church when y'all went, so y'all didn't have to walk.
I think we rode to church. A lot of times I think Dee with that old tit-tat-tat and we'd all get in there and ride to church, you know, a little bit further.
Right.
Up around the town.
Huh?
That was grandma's brother, wasn't it?
Right.
We didn't mention all of Grandma's brothers. She had quite a few.
Yeah.
Um,
Had Uncle A, George, and Uncle Abe, and Uncle Bud, and Uncle Tom, and let's see who else.
Uncle Arch.
And Uncle Arch, and Uncle Al.
Yeah.
And then,
Uncle Herman.
yeah, Uncle Herman.
Yeah. Yeah, we used to go up there a lot because he married Aunt Odessa, I think her name was.
Yeah.
We'd go up there a lot. Come down there and get us. Yeah.
I remember when we were young too, somebody used to come by Grandma's and they sold candy.
Revell and Bert, they come by there every Sunday.
Miss Burt,
Bert and Revell, yeah.
who were they? Were they any kin to us or?
I don't think they was, and I'm not sure. They lived in Mooresville. They'd come back from Mooresville all around, sell candy and stuff. They were every Sunday evening they come by there and, you know, park on the side of the road there. I remember down at Knoxville they'd come by and park on the side of the road and get out and we'd get candy and stuff, like candy and stuff from Revell and Burt, that's what.
So they had a store in the back of their car, trunk.
Yes, in the trunk, yeah.
Do you remember any other people who came by selling things? Even businesses. I remember, like, Mama used to buy flavoring from somebody who came by for pies and fillings and things like that. Any other things that people came by your house selling items?
I can't remember this, but there's a lot of them that come by.
That's like the Raleigh man. Had somebody called the Raleigh man, but I don't know what the Raleigh man's name was.
The Raleigh man sold those products, I believe.
Yeah.
That flavor and
The
stuff
flavor
like
and
that.
stuff, they sell that old flavor. It was good to make cakes,
Stuff like that.
cakes and stuff out of.
Yeah.
Make cakes, it'd be good cakes, they'd make that. But that was good flavor it was. They'd sell that. And several people come by, I can't think of their name. But I know Revell and Burt and then I'm trying to think who else. Several people come by selling stuff. And Redwood wasn't very high, it was cheap, you know, back in then.
Right.
It wasn't expensive.
So nowadays people can't come by and sell things at your house. We just shut our door because it's not safe.
You know, it's not safe because you don't know what they're up to.
But back then, do you feel like things were a lot more freer and you could trust people better?
Yeah, I think you could. Most of people you could kind of trust them, you know. Then you know, some people a lot of people you didn't know you couldn't open your doors for them because you didn't know their faces, you know. But a lot of times people I know they come by selling stuff, you know. You think you trust them, you buy something. You couldn't trust them, you wouldn't open the door. You had the door shut, you shut the door. You get in the house because you hadn't seen them before or something, you know,
Right.
like that. You could kind of trust them, and then you couldn't trust them. You shut your doors up.
Yeah. Did y'all always lock y'all's doors during those times at night at the house? Or did you leave them unlocked?
Most of the time we locked our doors, we did. But sometimes we sleep down at Knoxville, we sleep upstairs. We'd have the windows and stuff open upstairs, you know, look out.
Mm.
But a lot of times, like, and then you didn't lock your doors, and then again you'd lock your doors. A lot of times the boys was out at night, we didn't lock the doors, leave the door for them to come on in, and when they get in, lock them. That's what we do.
Okay. You've told us about family. We've moved along, talked about family and school. I want to touch on all of your aunts and uncles that you mentioned. You mentioned a lot of uncles: Uncle Abe, Uncle George, Uncle Bud, Uncle Tom, Uncle Arch, Uncle Al, Uncle Herman. What about your aunts? You also mentioned Aunt Mary.
Mary,
You remember any other aunts?
Aunt Mary, and Aunt Tynes, and I'm trying to think.
What about Aunt Jess?
Aunt Jess, yeah, she would come up a lot, 'cause she would come to that church down there,
What church?
Smith's Chapel. He lived in there a long while. They had good service there.
Aunt Jess.
Aunt Jess, yeah.
Anybody else?
Aunt Jess lived in Kannapolis.
Who else was with Aunt Jess? Seemed like there's one more.
Let's see.
Call Aunt Thompson's in.
And call Aunt Tynes.
But that's still a lot of aunts and uncles and a lot of siblings that you had.
Yeah.
Do you remember anybody's, any other in-laws that you want to mention? That somebody was married to that you remember that had a strong influence? Anybody that just had a strong influence in your life during those times that you want to mention?
Let's see, Aunt Tynes, and who rest that Aunt Jess, and
Anybody teach you how to sew, or anybody who was influential in teaching you how to cook or clean or plant, or anybody who had that influence on you? Or was it primarily your mother, Grandma Della?
Mother, Mama, she teach me how to sew. She would. And then Jess, she'd go down there, she'd show me how to clean. When you clean, make sure you clean it, you know, good. Don't half clean it, clean it right the first time. You wouldn't have to go back over.
I'm Diane Rankin Sanders. I am the oldest daughter of Alma, Jean Rankin Ivery. At this point in my life, I am almost 67 years old. I was born in Iredell County, right? Okay. Well, you can tell them a little bit about me if you want to. Just tell the highlights. You don't need to tell everything. What's it, Mom? You got anything to say
Oh,
about me?
Tell us about Diana. It's all right now, but go ahead. That's your oldest daughter, right? If she's like the oldest one in our family, she's the boss. Is Diane the boss?
yeah, she thinks she's.
The head knocker. That's what my niece says.
Do you feel like one child has to be in charge, so that's the oldest one gets that privilege?
Not all the time. That all.
Why not?
She thinks she's the head knocking the boss.
Okay. Anything else you want to say about me?
She's real nice and helping, doing stuff that I can't do now. A lot of stuff that I have done, I can't do it, you know. Now, She's real helpful.
She takes care of her mama, doesn't she?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay, I'm Diane, as I said before. This is my daughter, Sedetra, and my granddaughter, Sydney.
And
And your
And
granddaughter.
my granddaughter, Bella, who has to be a part of, who is a part of everything.
that's right.
My mama said that's right. Okay.
Okay.
I'm Dolores Jean Ivery Reddick. I'm Alma Jean's second child. And I have 2 kids. One's here, one's not. Huh. That's about it.
What are their names?
My son's name is Cedarian Reddick, and my daughter's name is Chandra Lanice Ivory Tyus.
Anything you want to say about your mother?
She's been a good mother.
Anything you gotta say about Jean, Mom?
She's a good daughter. Helps when she can and do what she can do. And keep on trucking.
Yeah, I'd like to keep on going.
My name is Shirley Ivory Black, and I'm the youngest daughter.
Ooh, excuse me.
And right now, since my mom can't do a lot, I'm the one that gives her the bath. With her, everybody have their own role. My sister Diane, she pays the bills, cooks, washes her clothes. My sister Jean, she comes up here and sits and eats with her. And I am the bath taker and the one that dresses her, helps get her to the doctor by pushing the wheelchair and get her in the car. And that's my role. Oh, and I'm also the one that's always saying I'm adopted.
But she's not.
They say I'm not, but I say I am because I'm so different from them.
I know you're not adopted. I know that.
She's not adopted.
She's an Ivory, a true Ivory.
No.
That's what they tell me,
I,
but I don't know.
I feel the pain for that.
Yeah, she's a true Ivory.
And a Rankin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a Rankin.
And I'm tell them how good a daughter I am.
She's a good daughter. Yeah. Very good. She helps when she can.
See.
But that adopted, that's out the question. Well, I took the pain for that. That's for sure.
Here was like what to say. Inez. What's it?
Shirley Inez.
Inez.
I'm supposed to say Inez. Okay.
That's the first we heard of that one. These are my 2 grown children. We have Shamika Spencer here, and we have Dwight Barry Sloan Jr. here. I have one that's mouthy and one that's quiet.
That's how you tell the truth. Do you mean mouthy? She just asks a lot of questions. She's inquisitive.
And thorough.
Mouthy.
And get it honest.
As the speaker said this morning, say what you gotta say.
Anything you want to say about Aunt Alma? Your grandma, your mama?
One of a kind.
Still love my grandmother's fried fish that I used to drive all the way from Greensboro to eat.
And I heard you make a wicked fried fish yourself now.
I got it from her.
I wonder why. I heard that.
Okay, I'm back to mention, actually I'm mentioning about 2 children who was actually Milton Eugene Ivory. He was actually the second child, but he only lived for 3 months, born in 1956, to my knowledge. And then we have Bernard, who was born in 1963, and he passed several years ago. His name was Bernard Eugene Ivory, also. And don't remember Milton, but Bernard, he was Bernie, and he was a good He knew everything. He knew all of our relatives. I mean, all of the relatives on both sides.
All the
We have
gossip.
all the gossip, and all our relatives in the Salisbury, the Iverys, even if they lived out of state, he knew them. So we kind of lost contact with some of those relatives, and we hope that we can get back, which I did see one cousin in Salisbury, and I knew she was an Ivory, and then I just walked up to her and started talking, and of course she was. So we do have some contact, and just a while ago she did tell me a text by saying, telling Mama Happy Mother's Day. And so Bernard was a know-it-all, and like, you know, he didn't even allow me to wear shorts as old as I was. Told me I need to take them off. But anyway,
And he used to eat those suckers.
he eat those blow pops. So even when he passed, Mama put several in the casket. But anyway, he developed the kidney disease, and he was on dialysis. But what we've been told, the doctor says he's one of the persons that lived the longest being on dialysis. So there is a survival if you just take care of yourself. But anyway, when he finished his dialysis, he had to have him some KFC or whatever. Then late at night, even when I was going to work as a magistrate, and I had to be there for 12 o'clock, I would go by this certain store, and he's up there sitting out in the parking lot. And everybody knew him. But anyway, he was a good brother, people person, and we still miss him. And then we had one other brother. Oh, Jesus. I'm glad I know him. But anyway, his name is Corey Lee, which is supposed to be Corey Terrain Ivory. Corey Lee Ivery. And he is the baby. And he is the funny, the feisty, the comedian of the family, and I mean a real comedian. We should be making some money off of that, but we don't have to see about getting him on the road, because he could make us some money. But everybody knows Corey. A lot of people know him, even though they don't even know if we're related. But then they find out, you know Corey? Like, yes, that's my brother. But Corey is Corey. He's been helping out, bringing food. You can call him. He drop off food, do whatever he has to do. So we're just all sticking together. So that's my story. We still have our Aunt Ruth, who was married to Uncle DeWitt, Joe DeWitt Rankin, Mama's brother. So Aunt Ruth is still part of our family.
That's the only one.
She's the only one that I know of. Yeah, Aunt Ruth. So they are the matriarchs of our family. About when you was growing up.
Well,
And then you could tell us about you coming on corn shuckers and stuff. Whatever.
when I was growing up, Dad would have us corn, cotton, and shucking corn. They'd have corns or cornfield. There'd be big long row of corn. Certainly days or certainly late in the evening, they would have a corn shucking. Parents would come in and people's come in, shuck the corn, throw it in a big pile. We've done that several years down there in Knox's. We have, so then we, my goodness, we had big old cotton fields. A lot of time we had to stay out of school, whole cotton and pick cotton. We didn't want to, we had to stay out of school and do that.
But then you say when they had the corn shucking, then down at the pile, there'd be something down at the bottom.
What? Yeah, they had a pint of liquor down at the bottom.
Why? That's where we went. Why?
Shuck corn, whoever got down there first get the old a big old long pile of corn. They piled it, you know, in a certain time in the evening, the men and women and children go over there and shuck corn to gut that dog. And the men would try to race to get to the end, but your one gut to get to open that liquor and drink it. They drank some of it, and that's passed around, let the rest drink some. Yeah.
That's what you call working together, I guess.
I guess so.
I guess so. They hurry up, big old long pile of corn. They shuck up some corn to get to the end. Get to the end, which one got to the end first. They would. So they shook up from home.
Tell us about going to the beach.
A lot of time we went to the beach, and every year in the summertime, R.C. and Bob and us would get together 4 or 5 cars and ride down to Maryland Beach, we did. And then a lot of times I'd take the children and go up in the mountains. I'd leave, trying to think all them chaps I'd have in the car and take in and drive up to the mountains. But I'd hit 40 and go straight on up the Hickory up in the mountains. Yeah, we used to go every year. R.C. make sure everybody got this lady from Kudelman, Apple Louise, Fleming. I think she was a Fleming. Anyway, she can't invite him. She'd go along. Uncle R.C.'s on, I think she was. And we all get 4 or 5 cars and get together. We start to the beach. We had one store we stop at before we go down there and get some gas or drink or something. And then we'd head on to Maryland Beach down there and get us a room. Go out in that water, we'd have a good time. We'd have to, I remember, I think it was Tayshawn and Lisa. When they was little, we'd have to watch them so they wouldn't go out in the water and get drowned. But we'd have a good time every year. All season mine to get together. And we'd get down there to the beach. And we'd have a good time.
I remember motorcycles.
Huh?
I remember motorcycles.
Yeah, R.C. had a motorcycle. And somebody else had one too.
Mr. Bill Stutz.
Bill Stutz, yeah, he had one.
Seemed like Billy Ray Brown or something. He was in the group too. I
I
remember.
think he was in there too. And we'd have these 4 or 5 cars and motorcycles. Sometimes R.C. drive, Bill Stutz, and I think there's somebody else that drove a motor.
Didn't A.C. Tucker?
A.C. Tucker too, yeah, and
Oh, yeah,
Ozell.
forgot about them. It's
Yeah,
all
forgot
set.
about them, Ozell and A.C. Tucker. We'd ride down there every year.
What we do? Did y'all fry us any fish?
Yeah, they had a place where they get like a park and we catch fish and we didn't catch them, we'd buy some and fry fish and eat them. We did.
I wonder why I just love so much fish. I just
know
love
it.
fish.
Right.
Fish is good.
We must have been eating a lot of fish. It's just in my.
So what's your favorite fish? What's your
used to
favorite fish?
They used
Fish
to
is
go.
spots.
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 They used to go to the coast fishing a lot, didn't they?
Yeah, they fish too. A
Yep.
lot of times they fish and catch them in that like a playground, a park or something, you know, pretty good stuff. Had a place where you could clean them and fry them out there. So we'd fry them and eat them and fry. Then we'd buy some to bring back. That's what we'd do. Yeah, them fish was good then. Well, they're still good. Them spots.
Any other places you remember going?
No, not up in the mountains.
Mountains and the beach.
Tweetsie Railroad. Here we come.
Those are my 2 favorites too. Now I love going to the mountains. I love going to the beach.
Yeah, I know it.
Tell me when the Aunt Lil and all got to go.
Yeah.
We did that.
We finally got Leah, James let Leah go with him. He didn't much what we told Mamie, I think Mamie
Mamie
did.
Bill went too. I got
They
pictures.
would look at, look what they could, let Leah go, James tried to let her go. So Leah had a good time, then Ethel Louise from Kuhlman over there, let her to go.
Teasley.
It just sounds like family.
Sister
I just hear
Teasley.
that theme of family, a large
family.
village.
We had a good time with it. See, when we get out there in the water, we would just tell, don't go too far out there because you can't swim. But we would go out there in the water, you know. I don't know what bathing suit we had on or what.
Look at some pictures.
We get out there in that
I
water.
think it's one over there.
Yeah. So we'd all get a place, you know, we all us be close by. You know. We had a good time. We started 1 or 2 reminders. You going to the beach, get everything ready. And then finally James let Leah go, or he didn't let her go. So she going too.
This is a picture of Mama when she was younger. She probably, and this is a group family picture. I think we were having a family reunion. Hold it, Mama. We were doing a family reunion time.
We used to have family reunions every year. We started back in, I think, what, 1987? Yeah, 87 was the first year the Rankin families out of Joe and Della's children
Right.
started having family reunions, and we pretty much had them every year
Every year, yeah.
since then, except for COVID. Kind of sidetracked. Do you remember when you were growing up, relations between people, civil rights? Do you remember any of that back during the day?
Don't you remember when you used to take us to the health department, had to get our shots, and then they had to chase me? But you know, the whites were on one side and the blacks were on the other side. Don't you remember that? And you couldn't drink out of there was the water fountain.
Couldn't drink out of
The
the
water
fountain.
fountain. But I would always, when they came out with the needle, I would always run and have to chase me down.
She didn't like a needle, ain't Alma?
She didn't like a needle, she didn't.
And she's just like me.
No, I don't like the
Me
needle.
too, because I don't like no needle either.
I'll bear with them if I have to, but I don't like the
But,
needle.
and then when we used to go to Dr. Scheme's office, right? To the doctor, Dr. Scheme in Mooresville, in the corner, we had to sit on, then you had to take us on one side, another side.
The other side.
The whites and the blacks,
Separated.
separated.
Yeah, you still, blacks who still had to go in the back
Yeah.
in a restaurant and
Restaurant, everything.
different places.
But they had the black water fountain and the white water fountain, and then when we went to the doctor, we were on one side. We were in one room and the white were in the other room. Mama, tell them about when you won a Mother of the Year in 1971. You remember that? What, you got, tell them about all them gifts, well, if you remember.
A lot of gifts.
They gave her a crown, had a little, was a little cape on you or something too?
Yes. She used to have
Queen
that
for a
picture.
day.
Queen for a day.
So that's
a
her
picture.
Okay.
And one thing I can say, I bet you never thought a black woman would win it in 1971. But they had to up all those gifts.
Just put
But we
my
thanked them.
Yeah, because every store in on Main Street had to give her a gift.
Yeah, they were nice gifts. So
That was big.
that was big.
Big,
wasn't it?
bada bing, big.
Picture was in the paper and everything, right?
right.
Yeah.
Nice gift. Or
Yeah. So we
You
come a
was
long way.
special. That was special blessing.
special, right.
Didn't it make you feel good?
Yeah, they had her sitting in a queen chair.
We just, yeah, the days have changed. That's right.
Times have changed, haven't they?
Yeah, time has changed.
We even had a black president.
They sure have.
Did you vote?
What?
Did you vote for him?
Yeah, I voted for him.
He did a great job, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, certainly did.
We need him back.
I did tell him that was the first time Ann Haley ever voted, right?
Yeah,
But I took her.
All
She
right.
never voted.
I took Ann Haley. I got a picture of her somewhere.
Doug said she never did head vote before.
Took her to register to vote, and she voted all at the same time.
That's awesome. That's history.
Yes, it was history.
So what you guys say about voting, Mama? Everybody should.
Everybody should vote.
That's our voice.
That's right. Vote. Vote for the right. That's what.
And if you don't vote, don't say anything
That's the
about
right.
what's wrong. Try to make a change.
Don't say nothing. If you don't vote, don't say nothing. You just look and tighten your lips. That's what you have to do.
Hey now, is there any advice or anything you'd like to tell your children, your grandchildren, that you'd like to give them in this time, 2022?
Like to give them.
Yes, ma'am. Any advice or any words of encouragement or words of inspiration you'd like to just tell them?
The best advice that I can give them that's put their trust in the Lord and lean on Him, He will bring you through. Troubles don't last always. That's what you have to do. Put your trust in Him. That's what. Because it ain't like it used to be out here. Things have changed so much. It ain't like it used to be. So put your trust in the Lord. He'll bring you through. Might seem hard sometimes, but He'll bring you through. Exactly.
All right. Anything else you want to share? You can think of? Anything else you'd like to share?
I can think right now, Kay. Okay.
We can thank Kay and Kim for taking the
Yeah,
time
thank
out.
y'all for taking the time out coming up
It's
here.
real interesting.
Literally,
Any
yeah.
more juicy gossip in there?
You're welcome. No, I'm just saying you're welcome.
Yes, but coming up here, taking your time out and doing this.
Any more juicy gossip?
No,
Go ahead and let it roll.
Hey, now, you know you got something in there you'd like to share with us? Just go ahead. We won't tell nobody.
What is it? I don't know.
Anything you remember about my daddy?
Yeah, you had a good daddy. He'd work.
You knew how to work
He'd
on
work
everything.
on everything. Plumbing and stuff and different stuff, and he knows how to do that.
Like he didn't, he'd tell you how to do it.
He's
Yeah,
a
he
jack
tell
of
you
all
how to do
trades.
Well, when he was young, how did he learn all that?
I don't know where he learned all that stuff. Because the rest of them, there wasn't no plumber and repairing and stuff. Because I know Jake and old tried to work on stuff, but he couldn't do much. I don't know where he would learn all that stuff.
Reckon it was from when he worked with the Hortons.
Build
Might
a
have been
supermarket.
Yes,
That's what I
right.
thought.
Building supermarket.
Dang, check that out.
I think he did do a lot with the building
He did.
supermarket.
Yeah, he learned a lot there.
from there.
Yeah. He was a quick study with them too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because he could plumb and build stuff and this and that.
And he didn't take no foolishness. He didn't leave in no aggravation.
Either you did or you didn't.
That's it, right. And I think Corey said he don't bring all that negativity here.
Yeah.
What kind of work did she do?
Uncle DeWitt.
No,
Oh, Mama worked for Celanese for over 20 some years, and she retired from there. But she actually started out with Burlington Mills in Mooresville and worked there, and then went from there to Celanese, which was called on Highway 70 going towards Salisbury.
Used to
Fiber Industries.
used to do swing shift, didn't you? You know?
Yeah, swing shift.
Was that hard?
It wasn't hard, too hard. We worked from 7 to 7 next morning, or from 7 that first shift, or the other second shift. I don't know, we might have worked third shift too. But I
It
don't
seemed like it was a third shift.
I think didn't it start out at 8 hours first? And
Yeah, then it went to 12.
12. It wasn't that hard, you know, but you had to go along and work 20-some years down there. Yeah.
That's how we had our first kid.
I just like to say, thank God for growing up around Aunt Alma. She was just like a mother to me. I remember when she took her kids and my sister to Tweetsie. I didn't get to go because I had to stay and play with my brother. And she said, I'll take them girls, but I will not take Ricky. And my mama told me, well, you got to stay and play with Ricky. So I didn't get to go to Tweetsie. But I also remember one time I called myself leaving mom and them because I didn't like staying at home no more. I came and stayed with Aunt Alma. She took me in and treated me just like I was hers. I think that lasted maybe a couple of days or more, and then I had to go on back home. That's why I came today. It's not much, but I wanted to give her a card to let her know that we do appreciate her, we love her, and think of her as a mother, since my mother's gone. So that.
And you are?
I'm May, I'm Barbara's baby girl.
Who's Aunt Alma's sister?
Yeah, which is Aunt Alma's baby sister.
Appreciate it very much.
We inspired Sister Ann.
Yes.
You been to church?
I ain't been to church all day. Woo, yes, thank you, Jesus.
That's what happened.
Just
when,
done ate too much.
That's what happened when you raise preachers.
That's what happened when you get 73 years old. Woo, thank you, Jesus. Ain't that right, ain't that? Yes.
So Ann, we recording Aunt Alma.
That's
She
good.
told us about, her siblings, her aunts, her uncles,
Mm-hmm.
and she mentioned when she was talking that she helped raise Wes and
She
you.
did.
She told us how Wes sucked on that Coke bottle with the nipple.
Yes, he did.
Until he was 12.
Go to school, come home, and still
That's
looking for
exactly.
his bottle. Mm-hmm. That's the truth.
That's what I told
That is so true. I don't know when they weaned him off that thing.
I don't know.
Sometime or another.
And so she told us that they helped raise you as well. So
She
anything
did.
you'd like to add?
She done a good job. She done a very good job. I don't know where to go back.
Tell your whole name first.
Oh, my name is Annie Mae Rankin. Annie Mae Rankin.
All right.
Sheely, right now. And always will be. And Alma, she did help raise me. She's just like a second mom to me. I was pulling on her little dress tail every time she turned around. She couldn't even go out on a date because Mama tell her, no, you gotta stay here and watch these cheerleaders, these kids. And
What would she say?
who? Grandma?
Aunt Alma, when
Oh, that.
she told us
She wouldn't. I don't remember Aunt Alma ever raising her voice and fussing about it. Back then you couldn't do it because you get smacked in the mouth.
Oh, okay.
Or roll across the floor, or you get a switch on them legs, and Grandma Della would pull them off the tree and skin the leaves off of it and put you between her legs and beat your little behind end, and you didn't talk back.
You sound like that's the experience.
It is, and it was a good one because we learned how to respect our elderly. We learned how to respect aunties and anybody that was older than us, even our neighbors or whoever came. And when we come in the house, company would come in the house, the kids would have to go outside. It wasn't like you sitting here and the little children sitting here and listening to everything you say and looking you in the mouth and talking about it later to their friends. We ran outside. We had to go outside and play upstairs or whatever. In which I think that was a good thing too, because kids learn too much now too fast. And I mean, it's just, I love them, and time has changed. It's just not like that now. And I went to 2 services today, and the preacher was talking about the same thing. We need to go back to the young mothers, need to go remember how they were raised, and go back, and their grandparents, and go back to the old way of kind of raising children, because they're learning too fast, and they're getting too smart and too grown too quick. They need to stay a child and gradually grow up into. And you got anything to say about your auntie and your mama?
Well, I just want to say that I just thank God that during the times of trials and tribulations in our life, when I was young, that Aunt Alma took the time to take me in, and I lived with her for a year. So I'm just grateful to have had an aunt that took the time to took me in and allowed me to live here as her own for a year. But I'm just grateful for that. And as my mom said, there is some changes, a lot of changes in our life and in today's world. I would go back to the book of Titus, when it talks about in the book of Titus 2, where the older women should teach the younger women how to be women. And I think we've gotten away from that as well, how to love their husbands, how to take care of their homes, and how to love their children, and how to be that godly woman that we've seen different things throughout the year. Now, don't get me wrong, there have always been women that had some trials and tribulations, but I'm talking about godly women that I know, that were strong women, that was able to lead by example, even in times of trials and tribulations. Their children, a lot of their children, we didn't know, but now children know everything. But at least those women back then were able to stay strong, remain strong, and kept on moving on and kept on whatever it took to make sure that whether it was Aunt Alma or whether it was Aunt Ruth or Aunt Leo, they made sure that their children in some kind of way was taken care of, and they were all looked out for each other, and it took a village to raise children. As to now, people don't want you to say nothing to their children.
No.
But this is why the society has changed and things are different. But women like Aunt Alma and those
They
that paved the
discipline us.
way, that showed that discipline and made you understand some things, you know, we love them for that.
Yep, they made us listen.
Oh, yeah.
They all made us listen, but yet they showed us the love, that example
We
of the
always
love.
knew we were loved. We
Uh-huh. We always had
Grandma
food to
always
eat.
pushed
No
that.
matter where you went, you always
That
had
village.
You love your family.
That village.
Yeah, the love of the
We come from
entire
a
village.
strong, didn't we, Alma?
Yes,
A strong line
strong family.
of women and men in the Rankin family and the Wilson family that I remember.
And I wanna run these names by you, and you tell me if somebody's missing from Aunt Alma's aunts and uncles.
Can't remember my
Uncle Abe, Uncle
Yeah.
George,
Yeah.
Uncle Bud, Uncle
Yeah.
Tom,
Yeah.
Uncle Arch, Uncle Al, Uncle Herman, Aunt Mary, Aunt Jessie, and it's somebody else. Aunt who?
Thanks.
Aunt
Tynts.
Tynts, and
And Tynts was the Browns, right? Yeah.
and wasn't there one more aunt?
Aunt Mary.
Mary, Jessie, Tynts.
That's the only ones
It
I
just seemed like
remember.
one more, but I don't know why my mind.
No, you talking about
And who,
Aunt Alma.
that she hung with Aunt
From
Jessie.
Modela's sister.
Oh, okay.
Is the tape still running?
What about the one from States? For what was that? Was your uncle's daughter?
Aunt Mary was down there in
It
Mount
was Aunt Mary. She was the one that died.
She's the one that died that Tom Knox and Aunt Mary was arguing. And he pulled a gun out. And Aunt Mary, she had a heart attack. I guess she thought he maybe was gonna shoot both of them. And she had a heart attack and died.
And that was in Mount Gilead, right?
Mount Gilead, yeah.
Gilead.
I remember we used to go down there.
Grandma was
for
down
Khadijah.
there at Aunt Mary's.
So we really need to be checking into,
We
we
got
have
family
relatives
down
down there.
Yeah.
I remember going down there as a young
Because Uncle
person.
Dewey
as
would
well.
always take us down there.
Ain't that out from Charlotte somewhere?
I just remember going.
Corn called
Well,
down.
Mount Gilead?
Concord.
Yes.
Mount Gilead? That's down in Montgomery County, towards past Alma.
Yeah.
Yeah, down
Yeah.
that way.
We got people down there, but we don't know.
Aunt Mary had a-
Alma.
Aunt Mary has a son. His name was Doug.
Yeah,
And
I
I'm
remember
trying to
one
think
named Doug.
She had another name, something.
I remember
Now,
Doug.
Aunt Ruth probably know about.
Yeah, I remember Doug.
They used to take us down there.
He was Doug, and I think there was two of them boys. I'm not sure. Two of them.
And Grandma Lily, what, did she pass in this area, or was she down that way?
She was down there at Mary's in Mount
See, that's what I'm
Gilead.
saying. That's where she's buried at, right?
Probably so.
I don't know where she was buried down there, up here.
Because I remember a picture of her being in a casket, but I don't know what happened to that picture.
I don't know.
I was
believe
young. I remember
I
we used to
believe
go
Doug
down.
was
I think she passed in 1955,
West
the
probably
year I was
remember.
born.
I'll see if Wes remembers her mama.
Doug was her son. I think he buried her down there. I'm
I
not
think
sure.
so too.
I don't remember Aunt Mary at all.
I just
Yeah, she-
remember we used to go down there to visit.
She married
Uncle
her.
DeWitt would take us.
But I
She
remember
married-
going to Mount Gilead.
She married Will Knox's brother. I think his
Brother.
name was Tom.
Hmm.
Anyway, it was Will Knox's brother.
Well, Aunt Mary.
Yeah,
She was married to Knox.
Hmm.
I think that's what.
That's what I'm saying. I was trying to figure out Grandma Lily, great Grandma Lily.
Mm-hmm.
I remember a picture. They used to have a picture of her in a casket.
Hmm.
It was an Aunt Hallie's stuff.
Yeah,
Well,
but she died in 1955.
okay. That's before, as Daddy would say, that's before me.
Yeah.
I know they say Uncle Herman had a daughter got struck by lightning because she was standing in the window.
Yeah.
Did she pass away?
Yeah.
Died?
Yeah.
He lived out there next
That's
to
why they
us.
always tell you don't stand in front of a window. We was always told
We
go
sit
down and get
down
quiet. And I
And
guess
that
the
was one
experience
reason.
is, yeah, when you have that personal experience,
They
then
used
it's,
to talk about her a lot.
hmm.
They was living out there next to Moore's Uncle Herman was. Her name was Hazeline, I think
Hmm.
her name was.
Yeah, I remember Hazeline, and she had a son.
But that
Hazeline was Uncle Tom's daughter, right?
Hazeline was Uncle Herman's.
Herman's daughter.
I thought it was Uncle Tom.
I don't think Uncle Tom had no kids.
Tom had no kids.
When they married to Aunt
He
Ellen,
used to keep us dying.
his wife named Aunt Ellen,
And mama
Uncle
just
Tom.
got every weekend. Mama make me go over
Uncle
and
Tom
stay.
used to keep me and you.
Stay
together.
Stayed on in Mount Ella,
Yes,
well,
stay
on
on-
way below where and down in there from Aunt Bobby where they stayed.
He made me go over there and stay with Aunt Ellen while he
Yeah.
home top around.